Hezbollah! Drugs! So it's a mystery. Clearly there's something going on.
This is horrible, what we're living. Russian agents, Iranian agents, freely operating in Venezuela. Hezbollah and Hamas.
Defeats. Victory forever defeats. Esto se llama lenguaje tarzaneado.
Why do we need an aircraft carrier and strike group outside?
It's got to be somewhere.
Okay.
It's a big one.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Jafar Show. Today, we're going to be talking about Venezuela. Venezuela, ready or not, here we come. I hope not. Let's get to it. Today, we have Mr. Carlson Tucker. He's going to tell us about it. We have Miss Maria Corina Machado, Nobel Prize winner. We're going to hear from Mr. Maduro himself. And the last but not least, Mr. Trump. Are you guys ready for this? Very interesting episode, because we're going to find out why are we going there. Carlson Tucker. He has a very interesting view about what's going on. We hear from Mr. Max Blumenthal, actually, that in New York Times, they already have 3 plan proposition. If you want to be more informed about it, in the New York Times. Mr. Carlson Tucker, he's going to tell us, why are we going there? Is it for democracy? Is it for oil? Is it for Hezbollah, maybe? Or is it for drugs? Because that's why we're blowing all these boats, right? Those drug boats. So let's hear from Mr. Carlson Tucker.
Not to be the bearer of bad news, but it looks like we're about to embark on another regime change war like next week. There's so much going on right now in this country that you may not be aware that there is a U.S. naval armada steaming toward Venezuela, which is a large oil-rich country in South America, not too far from here, actually.
Are the largest aircraft carrier in the world.
The purpose of this show of military force is to force the leader of that country, Nicolas Maduro, to leave. And the threat is, unless he leaves, vacates the premises, gives up his job, turns over the reins to the opposition party, splits Venezuela for good, the United States will go to war with Venezuela, invade it. Even.
Wow.
Kind of a big deal.
Yeah, it is.
You may not even have known that. Very few people seem to be talking about that. Before this happens, it would be nice to know why we're doing this. Why are we having a regime change war?
You tell us, please.
Pushing this or just saying it right out loud. The purpose of this adventure is to replace the government of Venezuela. So the question is why? Why are we doing this? Why are we so opposed to Nicolas Maduro?
Question.
We can safely discount democracy as a reason for affecting regime change in Venezuela. We're not going to go kill Nicolas Maduro because we don't like the way he's treating his people.
Hell to the no. Of course
So
not.
what could be the other reasons? Well, energy. That's the obvious one. Venezuela has the deepest proven oil reserves, the biggest proven oil reserves in the world. Venezuela has more oil than Saudi Arabia does. Now,
Over 300 billion barrels.
Dirty oil, and its infrastructure, its oil extraction infrastructure is in terrible shape. People say, well, of course, it's about oil. Is it about oil? Doesn't seem to be about oil. There are a bunch of American oil companies, big ones and little ones, independent and publicly traded, who would like to get into Venezuela.
Why don't we let them?
They can't because of sanctions, but they'd like to change that so they can help Venezuela extract its mineral resources and make money in the process and presumably help the United States in the process. They haven't been allowed to do that. So if your goal was to secure as much oil as you could, as much energy as you could for the United States and help American energy companies build their businesses, employ Americans, of course, you would stop moralizing long enough to let Americans rebuild Venezuela's aging extraction infrastructure. But we're not doing that. So is it really about
They
oil?
offered it. We said no.
Probably not. Well, then it's about drugs. That's what we've been hearing now. It's about drugs.
Is it?
Venezuela is a drug-dealing nation. Its regime is involved in drug trafficking. And by the way, sounds true. Probably is
How about
true.
fentanyl?
Is Maduro or people around Maduro involved in the drug trade in some way? Probably. Would think so. How many Latin American heads of state aren't? That's a good question. But it's not an excuse. It's bad. But how significant is Venezuela in the hemispheric drug trade? Like, if you're looking at the drug trade in the United States, how much of that comes from Venezuela? Well, we have a fentanyl crisis, famously. Does fentanyl come from Venezuela? No, it doesn't. Actually, it comes from Mexico. Huh. What about meth? Well, meth also comes from Mexico. What about cocaine? That would be Peru, Bolivia, and Colombia. Not to say that drugs don't come from Venezuela. Of course they do. But most drugs that wind up in this country do not come from Venezuela.
Bottom line, yeah.
They're not produced there. They're not trafficked
Not
through
produced,
there.
not trafficked.
And the cartels that distribute them and kill people in our country are not Venezuelan.
Some trafficked, yeah, of course.
They're Mexican. All of them. The top 5 drug cartels operating in the United States, including the ones that control entire counties in Northern California, huge parts of the American Southwest, Florida, Texas, all over, Northern New England, those are all Mexican. So probably not about drugs. What is it about? We should know. You may have seen this on Sunday. This is Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina, redolent with glee as he describes our plans to kill Nicolas Maduro. Watch.
Venezuela is now partnering with Hezbollah. Hezbollah is running out of money because Iran is weak.
That's not new.
Partnering with drug cartels in Venezuela. No, it should have stopped. Here's what's new. You got a commander-in-chief that's not going to put up with this crap. We're not going to sit on the sidelines and watch boats full of drugs come to our country. We're going to blow them up and kill the people that want to poison America. And we're now going to expand operations, I think, to the land.
We're going to kill people, and we're going to kill them, as Lindsey Graham just explained, because Hezbollah in Lebanon. And obviously the security of southern Lebanon is a key American objective. Okay, what does that have to do with us? Have a lot of Americans been killed by Hezbollah in the United States with money from Venezuela? If so, when did that happen? Can you prove it? Can you speak slowly so I can understand it? Can you show me the receipts? Can
No
you
receipts.
Give me
You kidding
some
me?
explanation for what this is and why we're doing this?
Elsewhere.
Hezbollah! Drugs! So it's a mystery. Clearly there's something going on.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. There is something going on. What's going on? We're not going to really say exactly what's going on until we go through also what Miss Maria Corina Machado said, the Nobel Prize winner. We also want to hear about Mr. Maduro, what he's going to be saying about this, is he ready for the war or not, and we're going to hear about Mr. Trump. But Mr. Carlson Tucker is saying that it's not about democracy, because as we know, there is a lot of other places in the world where we're not supporting democracy. That's the bottom line. We have to be honest about that. Other places, of course, we do support democracy. But why are we filtering Venezuela exactly? So it's not really about democracy. Is it about oil? Well, they do have the largest reserve of oil in the world, over 300 billion barrels, over Saudi Arabia, over Iran, over Canada. So they have the largest oil reserve. It takes more money to get it ready to be used. However, it is still a big reserve that we could have invested in. And the question is, why are we not investing? Because we hear from the media that actually Venezuelan, they're saying, welcome, come, please invest. Get this oil, help us get it. It's a win-win for everybody, for Venezuelan and for the U.S. And we know what Venezuelans have been going through for all these years, for the last decades, with the sanctions and what they're going through just in their supermarkets, for example. We see those documentaries everywhere. So now Machado, what did she say about it? Because Machado always asks questions about those boats. She was asked, what do you think about that? blowing up these boats. Then she's going to be saying, well, it's Mr. Maduro's responsibility. It's his regime and what they're doing. They are responsible for all that. The interviewer feels like she didn't get the answer that she wanted. So she's going to ask again in another simpler way. Well, how about there is no court process, no due process? Are you okay with that? As the Venezuelan leader, you are the leader of it, right? Because Miss Machado, actually, she probably gonna become the next leader, and hopefully everybody gets along. Because I'll tell you at the end what we want from Mr. Maduro if he does not want to go. All right, so let's hear Miss Machado what she's gonna say. And I found it a little weird because she didn't defend those people on the boats. I think that's what the interviewer was also expecting. It's like, hey, yes, these are Venezuelans still on the boats. And the thing about these boats is that we don't know who's in these boats. It could be somebody, for example, who's blackmailed, that they took their family and they tell them, hey, if you don't take the boat from A to B, your family will be in danger, and they're doing it. So we need to investigate. We just don't just blow everybody. How about if the Venezuelans are smart and anybody that they want to execute nowadays, they just send them in boats? Oh, we know you're gonna be blown up. So we need to be smart here. We need to investigate one by one. And like we said, one life is worth all humanity. We cannot sacrifice even one life. We don't know the situation. We don't know who's in that boat. But I'm gonna talk about it in the end, if you don't mind, because for now, let's listen to Ms. Machado is saying she's gonna point the finger to Maduro in everything, and if everything is gonna be asked for is because of Maduro, because of Maduro. Let's hear this together. Very interesting.
I want to ask you about the strikes the US has carried out on boats in the Caribbean, described as being strikes on drug cartels. What is your position on the deaths that have happened in that way?
Look, Michelle, as I was saying, for years, we were, asking the world to understand the degree of the threat and this devastation the Maduro regime was building in Venezuela. I mean, Venezuela has been turned into the safe haven for the activities of all criminal international networks, from the drug cartels to the Colombian guerrilla, to those groups that smuggle gold and destroy communities of our indigenous people and the ecology, to networks that smuggle arms and even human trafficking and child prostitution. This is horrible, what we're living. Russian agents, Iranian agents freely operating in Venezuela, Hezbollah and Hamas being located in our country. And as
remember
any
this part.
Criminal structure works, the moment you start, weakening them and they falling apart is when you cut the sources of the inflows of their criminal activities. And we have asked for years the international community to cut these sources that come from drug trafficking and other criminal activities. Finally, this is happening.
So you think those killings are justified then? That's what I really want to understand.
This is,
or are they, as the UN would say, extrajudicial killings?
She's getting clearer now. You think this is justified?
And Maduro is absolutely conscious, and he has been warned what not to do.
Maduro again.
These deaths are the responsibility of Nicolás Maduro. He knows, and the rest of the drug cartels that is in power in Venezuela, that they should stop these activities in order to prevent more deaths, not only of the Venezuelan people, but also from people all around the country. And look, this is very important. We don't want war. It was Maduro who started.
Maduro.
You are someone who stands for people's rights, for the rights of Venezuelans, for their democratic rights.
She wanted to defend her people.
Rights. What about the rights to due process of the people
no
who
more
were
clear
on
than
those
that.
votes?
I certainly defend the rights of everyone, not only Venezuelans. But? That's why my voice has been, loud all along this process. But you need to understand, all the international community need to understand, that this is a very cruel war. It was Maduro who turned this into an international conflict. Look,
did we count?
Are those people expendable? That's really what I'm wondering. Are those people expendable on the boats?
It was Maduro who insisted on
an
maintaining operations that have consequences. It is
why there was an earthquake, Maduro.
A war. against other countries, knowing that that would have consequences. I am talking about this process is about saving lives, millions of lives. That's what we need to do. I mean, we have been for years explaining the degree of crimes against humanity that take place in Venezuela and that need to be stopped. It is systematic, it's massive, it needs to be stopped. Finally, there is a reaction from international coalition that is calling things by their names. Maduro is not a conventional dictator. We're facing a narco-terrorist structure that has turned Venezuelan territory, Venezuelan resources, Venezuelan institutions, and that turned
Just
them
what Trump said.
to the
Remember
favor
that.
to the activities of a criminal cartel.
And this language you use, narco-terrorism, this is exactly the language that the Trump administration uses about Venezuela. And President Trump is saying, after the boat strikes, the land will be next. Do you support U.S. military strikes on the territory of Venezuela as part of what you call a process?
I believe that the increase in pressure and the escalation that's taking place is the only way to force Maduro to understand that it's time to go. And those that still support him, which are very few at this moment, the top brass of the military, financial enablers, front men that are making huge, obscene fortunes with the hunger of our people.
And there we go. Miss Maria Corina Machado. As you heard, why there was an earthquake? Maduro. Why is the sky gray? Maduro. Why everything going on in Venezuela? Maduro. I agree with you, Miss Machado, in many things. I agree with you that those drug boats are originated for some cause, for some reason, but we are shooting those boats. And again, we don't know who's in these boats. When we think about what Mr. Trump is doing, he's doing something good. He's trying to fight drugs. What else? You want him to don't do anything? He's trying to fight the drug problem that we have. And you're going to hear later that each one of those boats is responsible for about 25,000 deaths of Americans. We have a big drug problem and even a bigger fentanyl problem. That's where the real problem is. And when we think about it, where is fentanyl actually produced? The chemicals for fentanyl, where do they come from? They come from China. Okay. So I'm just saying, like, we have to check what's going on from the origin. There is a problem. Yes, there is a problem. I would like you also to listen from Mr. Maduro himself. What does he think about what's going on? Mr. Maduro is saying a la Tarzania, that's how we call it, the language, because he has some kind of a broken language. You should see when I came to the US, my language. I was like, me hungry, me here, you there. But he's making fun here. And I believe it's not time to have fun in this situation right here, where he is at right now, if I was him. And I will tell you again, at the end, what I will suggest. I like to suggest from both sides because we would like to be peacemakers. And I notice it is a tough job to be a peacemaker, because when you try to be a peacemaker, you get attacked from both sides. Both sides, they want to get their own way. And to be a peacemaker, you have to tell both sides to meet in the middle. It's not possible that you're going to get it your own way. Israelis, it's not possible you're going to get the whole land. Palestinians, it's not possible that you're going to get the whole land. So that's why we have to share. And I know some from this side and some from this side are not happy. But the bottom line is, what's going to bring us peace? Are we going to keep fighting forever for peace of land, generations? And even these borders, they keep changing by centuries. By one day, maybe we will have no borders at all. I believe if humanity get into some very big crisis, like something hit us from the sky or some big crisis for entire humanity, we're probably going to become one country. If the aliens come, imagine if there are really aliens, who knows? We will probably become one country to fight against aliens, to fight against the asteroids, to survive. So those borders are not really that important. What's important is to thrive in life, is to have a good life, is to be happy with you and your children, and bring that happiness to other people, make a contagious happiness. Some people want to fool us because they want to make money out of the weapons, they want to make money out of the atrocities that happen in the world, but we're not going to be that easy to be fooled. We're going to be like, oh yeah, really? You want us to go fight? Why? Because you think we cannot talk it out? Because we think we cannot, we don't have enough brain to just be fair to each other and just whatever we want for ourselves, we want it for the other, and everything is going to be fine. Yes, we can do it without fighting. We can do it without buying these weapons. Okay, let's go ahead and see Mr. Maduro. Okay, Mr. Maduro, he's going to... I just wanted to hear this. This kind
No
of...
a la guerra. No a la guerra. Not war. Not
No a
war.
la guerra, no a la
Not
guerra.
war. Just peace.
war.
Just peace. Just peace. Forever, forever,
I
forever.
hope so.
Peace forever. No crazy war. No a la guerra.
No
loca.
crazy war, true.
No crazy. No crazy
La
war.
guerra
No
loca.
crazy war. Please,
No,
please,
no, no.
please. Yes, peace. Peace
Por favor.
forever. Peace forever. Victory forever. Defeats. Victory forever. Defeats. Esto se llama lenguaje tarzaneado.
Yes,
Si
that's
se
Tarzania
traduce en
language.
español tipo Tarzán sería no guerra, no guerra, no querer guerra, no a la guerra de los locos.
We got the message.
No
You
a
don't
la
want the
locura,
war.
a la guerra. Esa sería la traducción, ¿verdad?
Because you know what could happen to you.
Sí paz, sí paz, sí paz por siempre.
Sounds like those bingo games. But here's what happened. Here's what's happening right now. So these are as you can see, we're shooting these boats. And we are alleging these are narco terrorists. However, there is no proof. We don't even know. We have no names. They happen to be in suspicious areas. They happen to do suspicious activities. But again, people could be blackmailed on those boats. Who knows what's going on with these stories in these boats? And we say we are so strong, we can do surgical operations. Why can't we just seize these boats and find out who's in it? And just investigate everybody and just put everybody in jail who deserves it. But we just shoot everybody like that. Imagine a simple fisherman right now just blackmailed all his family somewhere and there's nothing he can do. So he's going like almost in a suicide mission right now. This is what happened when you have the power and nobody can tell you what to do. And this is what happened with the United States right now. We're doing everything that we think it's right. Is it right? Is it not? We don't know. Because I believe it is good to fight this drug problem that we have. It's taking so many families apart. But again, the biggest problem that we have, more than cocaine, more than heroin, more all those drugs, is the fentanyl. And the fentanyl, again, I'm going to say it again, it's produced originally in China. So I believe we need to address the issue from its origin. If we can just talk to China and just make sure that nothing comes out of China, that there's more control of this production in China before it even comes to the US. Mr. Trump is focused on immigration and Biden. So when I came, I find Biden, he did this, that, I'm fixing it. And we closed the borders. Good. We got that point. Now, how about Venezuela? Remember the other episode we were talking about Palestine? Yes. How about the 67 borders? Now, the same thing with Mr. Trump. Yes. How about Venezuela? What are we going to do? Why are we actually going there? So it's not democracy, it's not oil. You're telling us about immigration, but we know that's something that's happening from all over Latino America and all over the world. Illegal immigration is hurting us, yes, and we get criminals that are coming in. We're not talking about simple people who want to work and make a living for themselves. There are criminals that are coming through the open borders. They take advantage of that, and they escape their countries, and they come to the United States to commit even more crimes, and they get caught. And unfortunately, due to some immigration system, they will be letting go. Imagine a criminal coming from somewhere else and they get caught, and because they don't have enough people to process them, because they're so busy, because so many excuses that we hear, and they get loose and they commit more crimes. So you find somebody who committed so many crimes here in the US and they are illegal. And that's how it has been. We appreciate that, Mr. Trump. We appreciate that you're trying to make that less. We totally appreciate it. I hope we're not attacking the simple people who just want to make a living and who have been already here I hope we have some kind of process that we can make it easy for them. So for Mr. Maduro right now, we are in a situation where the United States is really prepared. And also the Venezuelan army is really prepared. Defense ministry, just yesterday, they were saying that we're going to be ready in every street of Venezuela. They are ready for a guerrilla war. We don't want to go to a guerrilla war. We don't want to go to a war at all. We don't want to lose any life, Venezuelan life or American life. The thing is that we have a very strong army. We have a very strong Navy. And just like Mr. Scott Rader said, if the Navy is called for duty to go to Venezuela, they will do it. That's the bottom line. That's what they're trained for. That's how they are made. That's what our army, our Navy is made for. That's how we do it. We don't discuss the orders. Those Venezuelans' lives are lives too. They're just as valuable. I came to this country, ladies and gentlemen, when I was 18 years old. Been through bad neighborhoods too. I've seen what a drug neighborhood look like. A drug neighborhood, you find one person at the end of the street. That's the one who's selling drug. And usually because they compete with each other, they don't want to be too many drug dealers in the same area. So you're going to find one drug dealer responsible for a certain area. So that means if you want to get rid of that one drug dealer, there is a whole area around them that's innocent. They didn't do anything. They just happen to live there. They just happen to be born poor and they cannot pay much rent, so they go to those poor neighborhoods. They don't sell drugs. They don't do drugs. They have nothing to do with drugs. So for that one drug dealer, we're going to go ahead and bomb everybody. Please, Mr. Trump, please, let's not do that. Let's do surgical operation like we said. Like we said, we can go for them one by one. Let's have our CIA work really good and find exactly who are the criminals who deserve to be judged. Because we all know that those criminals, the worst case scenario for them is to come to the United States and be in our jails here, because they cannot have that luxury life that they have in their jails there. So we can do that. Just go for them one by one, all those dealers that are bothering us. And I believe it is not about drug dealing here. I believe that we are going to Venezuela because of Hezbollah, because of Hamas, because of Russia, Iran, North Korea, China, all these countries. These are the countries that are bothering the United States right now. And this is what happened when we have the sanction system. The sanction system creates this black market where all these countries become allies. And they create their own system so they can overcome the sanctions. We already talked about the shadow fleet in Russia. So that's a system that we don't even know. There are dozens, there are hundreds. Nobody knows the number because it's shadow fleet. And they work with each other. They help each other. And unfortunately, that also sometimes go into the underworld and the illegal activities. They will easily get involved in this kind of black market because it's not legalized. Mr. Trump, please. I know that we are worrying more about terrorism. That's why Mr. Trump was saying it's a narco-terrorist state. That's why Ms. Machado was saying it's a narco-terrorist state. I understand this is the main reason why we're going there. But please, let's not sacrifice innocent human lives. Let's go for whoever did something wrong one by one. We're that strong. Let our people work hard, not just throw a bomb on 100 people to get 1 or 2 people. Go for those 2 people, work hard for a couple of months to get them. Get the CIA work, get all this investigation work, and get those people. That's the real success. You got those people without any innocent lives. So whoever is doing any criminal activities, let's go for them, yes. But we shouldn't go for whoever didn't do anything. And that's what's actually going to take us to our next episode. We want to talk about some forgotten names. Some names that didn't do anything, yet they were in the middle of everything. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us. For Mr. Maduro, here is my advice. Mr. Maduro, please give United States what we want. If we want no more Russian, Iranian, Hezbollah, Hamas, North Korea, China interference, because they are right there in Venezuela. In Venezuela, you guys are not that far. You're like 500 miles from Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is American territory. So that means we are smelling the danger. What I say, Mr. Maduro, just make it clear with the U.S., hey, we're not going to harbor such a thing here. And actually, let's get together with the U.S. Let's get better with the U.S. Let us invest in that oil so the Venezuelan can get out of that lifestyle that they're going to. Mr. Maduro, you've been a bus driver yourself. So you've known what that life is like. You've grown from that life. And look at your people for the last 27 years. From 1998, what happened to them until now, how they are living, how the supermarkets are full, how people are having any kind of luxury. People are barely surviving in Venezuela. I mean, we see all these documentaries about what's going on inside. I don't think it's something really to be proud of as a president of what's going on with your people and with the progress that has been made in the last 30 years as the country with the largest oil reserve in earth. You guys should be luxuriating. You guys should be better than Dubai, better than Abu Dhabi. So, Mr. Maduro, I say just make an agreement with the U.S. that there will be no more interference from those entities that we are worrying about. The world is like this. The world right now is divided. Are you with the U.S. and the West, or are you with Russia, China, and the East? Please, Mr. Trump, whenever we do any kind of operation, let's not go for the people. Let's go for who are making it wrong. When we went for Iran, we just shot. There were so many innocent people. We went to Yemen, we just shot everybody. There were so many innocent people. Venezuela, please, let's not do the same thing. I know we have bombs. I know this is gonna lubricate the war machine that we have, and all those millionaires and billionaires out of the weapon deal trade, they're gonna get even richer and richer. We know that. But that's not what we want, Mr. Trump. Venezuela is not having any threat to us. That's like Mr. Carlson Tucker said. Even Hezbollah, we don't see any Hezbollah operatives in the U.S. It is an issue, yes, over there. But even over there, let's think about it. Why there is Hezbollah? Why there is Hamas? Why can't we just stop trying to take people's land? This is why these kind of organizations originate. They originate as a resistant organizations. But then after that, they start committing some acts of terror. Then we call them terrorist organizations. Remember, just like the militias from Israel before 1948, they were called terrorist organizations. Let's not even give them a reason to exist. Hezbollah, they exist because of the problem of South Lebanon. Okay, let's make an agreement about South Lebanon. Okay, don't take any land. That's it. And Israel, you got enough land. Just be happy in that land and prosper instead of just being suffering with wars and wars and wars. The Arabs will never give up. That's how it is, because the Arabs have dignity. They're never going to give up. So you have to make a deal. You have to make a deal so we can be all peaceful. Look at Egypt. You made a deal in Camp David. Nothing happened since then until now.